Sandy Says Read. Welcome to the channel. This evening we are going to do a booktube tag. Of course, it's a Christmas tag, as you can probably tell by the setup. This is the Christmas Song Book Tag, and this originated over at Haley in Bookland. It originated at her channel, and I found that she actually started this tag in like 2020 when she was doing like a whole month of Christmas theme booktube tags and videos about books for like a whole month, which sounds like a lot of work, right? But she also did this tag again, like revised it a couple years later. I don't know if it was 2022 or 2021. Anyway, she's done it a couple times, and I thought, ooh, I like that a lot. So you guys, we're going to do the Christmas Song Book Tag this evening here at our channel, because you guys know I get a little crazy about Christmas, and I love the Christmas tunes. We're going to do this up. Let us begin with a word from our sponsor. You guys all know the sponsor is me, and I'm still talking about my merch shop. Yeah, because if I do get this uploaded before Christmas, we'll see how that goes. There are bookish gifts that you can get for friends and family and yourself at my merch shop, which is the Sandy Says Read merch shop on the Spreadshirt platform. There's things like these mugs that have bookish and dragony sayings, right? And book bags and t-shirts and aprons and pillowcases, things like that you can get. And if this video is not uploaded before Christmas, you can get birthday presents for people. Okay, enough of the commercial. That stuff is over. Let's dive into this tag. I'm going to try to take it slow and easy so that all my mistakes don't happen as much as they usually do, because you know I don't edit these things anymore. We don't edit here. And I'm going to have to read the prompts off of the screen. If you've been following the channel, you know my printer doesn't work. It has a mind of its own. It is possessed by something. So the printer did not print out these questions for us. So I'm going to be reading them off the screen. Let me now go to the screen over here. Da-da-da-da-da. Click on that. Okay, so I will be looking at the screen, and I'll try to look at the camera, you guys, but I'll be looking at the screen an awful lot. Okay, so if I'm looking at the screen and not talking directly to you, I apologize. It's because I'm reading off the screen to read the prompts. Let's begin with the Christmas Song Book Tag, which is where we match up a Christmas tune that Haley created for us, a Christmas tune. We match it with a book. We match it, and it's going to be great. It's going to be great Christmas content. Okay, the prompts. We start with, "You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch." And for this we say, name a villainous character you couldn't help but love. So I'm going with the Hysteric King in Spinning Silver. I'm hoping that you can see this. I bet there's a glare on it, because there usually is, right? So let me wave it around a little bit to get the glare off of the book. Yeah. Okay, so the Hysteric King in Spinning Silver by Naomi Novik. He was like the Rumpelstiltskin character, right? And so you'd think he's the villainous, bad, evil guy, but he wasn't. He wasn't the only bad guy. He wasn't the only villain. And he turned out to be not quite so villainous. And you didn't hate him in the end. At least I didn't hate him in the end. So the Hysteric King is my villain who I didn't hate all the way through the book. Okay. All right. Let me sit there. And our second prompt is, "All I want for Christmas is you. Which book do you most hope to see under your Christmas tree?" And guys, I don't know. I wrote down on here maybe one of those fancy research books on like parrot husbandry, parrot care. I've shared with you all here, and you've even seen Winston on camera. You've seen Cricket on camera too. I have some parrots in my life, some pet birds. And in fact, Miss Mouse, my African gray parrot, she's been doing a couple of wacky things here lately. She's always been a clumsy bird. Hopefully she's not listening in the other room. She's always been a clumsy bird, right? But like the past couple of weeks, she's been falling off of her perch, which is not something birds should do. So we're going to the University of Florida with their zoo med department to have her examined. Y'all are welcome to pray for that, because she is a bird who she has seizures when she gets overly stressed. And she hasn't been to the vet in a long time, because the last time we went to the vet and she had one of those seizures, I thought I lost her. We'll stop talking about it now because I'm going to start crying on camera, and we don't need to do that. So let's move on to the next. So the book I would like to have is maybe one of those big fancy books on parrot care and parrot husbandry and just extra parrot information. Just for caring for your parrots in medical ways. Okay, moving on. The next prompt is Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Name a character that overcomes major obstacles and learns to believe in themselves. And I'm going to go with Wilbur in Charlotte's Web. Hopefully there's no glare on the book, but, cute little Wilbur, he overcomes weird obstacles, right? And doesn't get eaten. So, yeah, Wilbur. All right, the next prompt is Santa Claus is coming to town. Which character do you think would be on the top of the naughty list? And then also in this prompt is which character do you think would be at the top of the nice list? So I'm going to go with characters from the same book. I don't know if you're supposed to. But The Woman in White by Wilkie Collins, this doesn't really have a cover that shows you anything, specific about this book. But The Woman in White by Wilkie Collins there are a couple of naughty characters in here. Sir Percival Glyde, he is the husband in this book. He's the one who marries the lovely main character. And he is just rotten to the core, right? And we despise him. And then there's Count Fosco, who is like his friend, who helps him in trying to get his new wife committed. But then the lovely character, the one I think should go on the nice list, is the friend, Marion Halcombe. She is just this lovely, wonderful, she's like a BFF, right? And she helps our protagonist save Laura from her evil, terrible husband. Yeah. So those would be the two. I would put Sir Percival on the naughty list and Marion on the nice list. Okay, next we have Frosty the Snowman. Which book just melts your heart? And you guys, I don't think I've read a lot of books that would just melt my heart. Maybe I'm just a jaded person, I don't know. But I decided to go with Dracula. Right? That makes no sense, right? But I'm going to read for you from, right at the end of Dracula, page 506, in fact. And this is from Mina Harker's journal. So we're in Mina's point of view. And this is at the point where the guys have just upturned the coffin from the chariot that's taking Count Dracula back to his castle. Okay, we're at the climax of the story, and the guys have just pried the lid off the coffin, and the Count is lying there. The sun is about to set, so we're at this pivotal moment, okay? And we have Mina saying, "As I looked, the eyes saw the sinking sun, and the look of hate in them turned to triumph. But on the instant came the sweep and flash of Jonathan's great knife. I shrieked as I saw it shear through the throat, whilst at the same moment Mr. Morris's bowie knife plunged into the heart. It was like a miracle, but before our very eyes, and almost in the drawing of a breath, the whole body crumbled into dust and passed from our sight. I shall be glad as long as I live that even in that moment of final dissolution there was in the face a look of peace, such as I never could have imagined might have rested there." And that, I don't know if that melted my heart, but it was moving, it was pleasing, it was good that, Dracula had that moment of that just little second of peace before he dissolved, right? But there's also in this same scene, we have where Mr. Morris, where he's basically dying, right? And he exclaims that to see the taint of evil leaving Mina's forehead, to see that go away, it was all worth it. He's going to die, but it was all worth it to see that leaving Mina, to see her saved and rescued. That was heartwarming as well. That was melted my heart. So yeah, Dracula melts my heart. There you go. All right, so our next prompt is going to be Feliz Navidad. Choose a book that takes place in a country other than your own. And you guys, I mean, I guess I've read a lot of books that take place in a country other than my own, but every fantasy novel that I've been reading lately takes place in a world other than my own, and that makes me happy. So I picked out The Fellowship of the Ring. You know, going to Middle Earth, that makes me very happy. So this was a great book to put for that prompt. Yay. Okay, what's our next prompt? It's the most wonderful time of the year. Which holiday-themed book do you use to spread Christmas joy? And I was having a hard time coming up with a book for this one because I don't know, but I decided on this children's book, The Most Beautiful Christmas Tree. I'm sure there's a glare on this thing. I can't see that part of the screen, so I'm just going to wave it around at you. But The Most Beautiful Christmas Tree by Melody Carlson. This story, I think I shared information about it last Christmas during last year's Christmas content for you guys. And I'll find that and I'll put it in the a link in the drop down box below so you can see why I think this is just so lovely and wonderful. And I think it spreads Christmas joy. Okay, what's next here? Sleigh ride. Which fictional character would you choose to spend the holidays with? Now, this doesn't have to be a love interest. I've decided I'm going to pick one of my own because I would love to spend the holidays with either Nigel Timon, and wouldn't we all? Either Nigel or Malachi, his dragon. I would love to spend the holidays with one of them. And, as their author, I get to, and that makes me happy. Okay, let's see. Next up is Baby It's Cold Outside. Which book that you didn't like would you sacrifice to a fire to warm yourself up in the cold? I don't like the idea of burning books. Oh my God. But you all know, and I've talked about it on this channel before, there is a book called Vector. And I don't remember the author. But that book, I owned it at one time, and it was so reprehensible and so full of just racist, horrifying hate that I stopped reading it, and I threw it away in the trash so that it could go to a landfill and decompose, because that's what it needed to do. So that one, I could burn that one to stay warm. I would do that. Let's see. Do you hear what I hear? Which book do you think everyone should read? And you guys, we could probably all say this together on the count of 3. Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. I think everyone out there should read Jane Eyre at least once in your life, if not once a year. There are people who read Jane Eyre once a year. They call themselves Janeites. And I think I should join that club. I think I should read Jane Eyre once a year. That would be a lovely thing to do. I've told people that if I develop Alzheimer's, this is probably not I'm going to get flamed for this, but if I develop Alzheimer's, which, it's coming, I'll get to read Jane Eyre and be surprised by it again. At least I hope. If there's any silver lining in getting, dementia or Alzheimer's or all the crazy things that await me in my future, I'll get to reread Jane Eyre and be surprised by all the things in it and love it all fresh and new again. All right, the next prompt. Where Are You Christmas? A book you want immediately that isn't out yet. And we probably all would like to see George R.R. Martin finally finish and release The Winds of Winter. So I'm going to go with The Winds of Winter. The next prompt is Last Christmas, a book you started out loving but didn't end up liking. You guys, I think I might be offended by this prompt because you guys know I freaking love the song Last Christmas. I'm a huge Wham fan. I don't condone Whamageddon, and I've got a video about that. I'll put a link to that in the drop-down box below. So I did come up with a book that I don't want to say that I didn't like it because It was okay, all right? But I started out very much appreciating the book Splintered, that I'm sure has got a glare on it because this is a shiny book. It's a beautiful book, and it's like lovely. Everything about this book is beautiful and lovely. But it did get a bit, it did become a slog to get through. So I think that maybe it's not that I didn't like it, but that it just took a lot of energy to get all the way through it. Let's put it that way. But yeah, Splintered was one that was difficult. Let's put it that way. Difficult. Okay, the next prompt is Blue Christmas, a book that made you cry. And for that one, I'm going with Where the Red Fern Grows by Wilson Rawls. This one, my 6th grade teacher, I think it was 6th grade, our 6th grade teacher would read a chapter each day from this book to us after our lunch recess, right? And boy, there's a point in this book where it just turns real sad, and we were all sobbing like idiots in class, right? So that was tough back then, and I have read it since then. Like as an adult, I've read the book and cried again because it's just that moving. Wilson Rawls just did that good of a job with this book. So Where the Red Fern Grows by Wilson Rawls is definitely a book that will make you ugly cry. Okay, then the last prompt is A Marshmallow World, a fluffy book. You guys, I don't read fluffy books. I don't think that I have any fluffy books that I could point to and show you that I've read. I was trying to think of maybe a recent romance novel, because some romance novels are, just easy and breezy and fun, right? But I don't know. I don't think that I've got any fluffy books, because I think of fluffy as not just, fun and easy to get through, but fluffy being like no conflict, no angst, no stress. I don't think I have any books like that in my den. I don't think so. I don't think so. I couldn't think of one when I was, typing up these answers. I can't think of one right off the top of my head right now. Yeah, I should probably write one. I mean, there would be no conflict, no angst. That might be boring, but think of how pleasant and pleasing that would be. Maybe I'll write a fluffy book in my spare time. You guys, that's it. That's it for the Christmas song book tag. I encourage you guys to do this tag too, because it was fun to think of different books that go with Christmas songs. And I love the Christmas songs. Yay! I will put all of these prompts in the drop-down box below so that you can see them. And I will put a link to Haley's channel too, so you can see her original tag that she came up with, because this was very clever. I liked it. This was very fun. Thumbs up for Christmas tunes and for Christmas books and fun connection to books. It was very fun. This was a good idea. And you guys, wait, I need to get over here to this, hang on, to this screen so I can see what I'm doing. Okay, thumbs up. Please follow along. Please subscribe to the channel. Please click the bell notification icon to let you know each time I do these random crazy things here. Please have a lovely, wonderful Christmas season. It's kind of fun, right? Okay, thanks for tuning in.